Hello, and welcome to Ensuring Efficiency and Speed with Practical Solutions for Clinical Operations presented by OnePlan. My name is Robert Happy, and I am the Managing Director of Biotech Pharma at OnePlan. And I've been implementing project and portfolio management solutions in biotech pharma for over 25 years now, and as such have worked with a variety of different functions, specifically around clinical, because there's such a huge need for it there. And I've worked with both large and small organizations, and here to share with you all that experience. OnePlan has been consistently recognized as a market leader in this space. For example, over the last 5 years, we've been an award winner at Microsoft in project and portfolio management. We've been recognized by Gartner in strategic portfolio management, and we've won many awards by different organizations. Some of the key challenges facing biopharma and clinical operations, along with the ongoing challenges of managing things like study design and approvals, patient recruitment and retention, dealing with complex regulations, drug supply, supply chain, and data management. OnePlan, being a strategy, project, program, and portfolio management platform, can help optimize performance and address the following key challenges, only to name a few, but for example, operational efficiency, managing complex clinical program with feasible timelines and budgets and resources, helping ensuring efficiency and speed across your portfolio, stakeholder management, clear communication and coordinating across all parties, both internally, for example, within clinical operations and clinical, but also across functions like CMC, regulatory, non-clinical, and external stakeholders like CROs, regulatory bodies, clinical sites. Let's ensure that we're all aligned and working on mission critical prioritized activities. Financial budget and resource management. Clinical trials are expensive, so managing budgets and resources and to avoid overruns is critical. And optimizing the allocation of resources and funds also critical to maximize efficiency. Technology integration. Managing information across different technologies, getting them integrated into OnePlan. OnePlan has invested heavily into integration. For example, we can integrate with Microsoft Project or Smartsheet or financials from SAP, etc. We have out-of-the-box integrations, and we have the ability to use our APIs and OnePlan connectors to integrate with other solutions. So we get one point of entry, one source of truth, and everything ending up in a meaningful place. Also creating visual, meaningful, consistent, and reliable information served up in the way that you need it. Creating different visualizations and dashboards backed by the right size level of detail to give you peace of mind that you're feeling confident with the information. Aligning all of this from corporate and quarterly goals to portfolios organized by franchise, therapeutic area, disease areas, and indications across the development cycles from phase 1, 2, and 3, even before in discovery or after in launch. Managing clinical operations, no easy task, and that's where we come in. Our platform is designed to help you become more efficient and effective at all of this, including optimizing resource utilization and communication across clinical programs and teams, and specializing in right-sizing the tools to maximize your return on investment. OnePlan has a lot of modules, and you don't have to use them all. It's very modular. You turn on the ones you want and turn off the ones you don't want, or activate the ones you want and don't activate the ones you don't want. We have an intake module to help with managing clinical requests or helping you with your clinical development structure or clinical strategy. We have a planning modules for portfolio and portfolio managers to help prioritize and select the right projects and compare that to your capacity of resources or your budget constraints, and do what if scenario planning. We'll see all that today. Then execution, we got to get this done. What can we do to help our clinical plan managers, our clinical resource managers, our clinical team members, and even members outside of clinical? And also analysis. What can we do to communicate up to executives, create clinical status reports for team members and executives, clinical dashboards, clinical visualizations? How can we do all of this to make you more effective? So we're going to look at some of these key modules today. And the way the flow is going to go, we're going to go through 5 parts. Part 1, we're going to look at, hey, how do we get clinical ops and dev plans all in one place consistently and reliably? Part 2, Once we get it there, how can we view the holistic picture with meaningful views tailored to meet your exact needs? Part three, can we use this to prioritize and select the right clinic programs while balancing our resources and our cost to maximize benefits? Part four, let's align not only on programs, but with our corporate goals or quarterly goals or objectives and key results and make sure they're aligned and associated with programs that eventually get down to our team members. Part five, let's execute. How can we use this platform to help us execute and deliver results with team collaboration, focusing on what matters most? So part one, let's get things in one place consistently reliable. We're gonna have a look at the portfolio area here, and we can organize this information by therapeutic area, by asset, by indication, any way you need to, and slice it across so we can look at all of our clinical plans in one place and use consistent templates, metrics, and terminology. Also, it's very flexible. You can scale up or scale down as needed. And keep in mind, this is stored in a highly secure cloud-based tool with flexible permissions. So it's very permission-based as you look at this tool. So looking at the portfolio and looking at different views in here, we can also use consistent templates. So we have a template library. I'll show you a clinical template library that you can leverage to get a standard set of templates for various ClinOps plans and studies and scenarios and drive consistent terminology, processes, and metrics and build in those formulas and programmatic amount of lead time and lag times that you need between different milestones. We also want to manage clinical plans at any level of detail across indications. So one plan has an excellent scheduling engine. We can do your basic indenting, outdenting, linking. You can do some advanced scheduling around effort-based versus duration-based. You can, do your Gantt charting, do your predecessors, all that great stuff. But it also, if you want to, or if other people in your organization need to, for whatever reason, want to continue using or use a tool like Microsoft Project or Smartsheet, we can pull those in as well. So it's always an option. You can integrate with other tools or use the scheduling engine within one plan. Not only tracking timelines though, which we'd expect to be able to do at the ground level, we can also track other things like project details, for example, or project financials, or project resource plans, or some people call it a RAID list, your risks, your actions, your issues, your decisions, or you can throw a G in there for goals or a L in there for lessons learned. All of this is highly configurable, so we can track the things all in one place to make you more effective with your clinical programs. We'll see that today as well. Integrating, getting things in one place. So one plan, as I said, invested heavily in being able to integrate. We have out-of-the-box connectors with things like Microsoft Project or Smartsheet or SAP and so on. So if you have other tools that you still need to maintain, we can pull them into one plan to get it into one place. So let's take a look. I'll pop over to one plan. This is I'm going to start in what we call the portfolio area. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see we have different indicators that have different icons that have different modules. And we'll go through some of those key ones. Today, we're going to start in the My Portfolio area. And here you can build your plan type and your structure, very configurable. This is just a suggestion. And all the data that you're looking at are just examples, all fictitious, nothing real in here with regards to real plans or anything of that nature. And again, you can reorganize or organize your portfolio hierarchy. So if you don't want it to say therapeutic area and you want to say franchise, we'll change it to franchise. You can have as many levels of indentation as you want. Here we've got your therapeutic area, then we go down to your asset, and then we get into our program or functional plans. Today we're focusing on clinical, so I'm going to actually go to my clinical portfolio summary and just look at all of my clinical programs that I'm working on. And here, if we decide we can light up, in addition to this, we can light up our Gantt chart. If you want to see your Gantt chart, you can turn it on or off and see how everything stacks up against each other. You can even light up resource plans here and turn those on or off in this view. We'll talk more about that later. So all these views can be customized. I can even have one for other functions in here, but today we're focusing on clinical. And you can do basic stuff. You can continue to filter, you can group by and do other things in here. And then if I want to drill into a particular plan, like for example, this arthritis clinical development plan, I can and get into the details. And this is where I'm talking about getting consistent with the information that you have. In doing so, you can see here we got all the basics: indenting, outdenting, linking. You can filter your group by. You can show your Gantt chart if you want to show the Gantt chart or not. And you can have different phases here. One thing that we can do is use a consistent template library. So I'll just go there. There's all kinds of functions. You can show timeline. You can turn your critical path on and off. All the basic stuff in here. You can have baselining, etc. But I'm going to talk about the template library first, because I think it's important. So I have a template library, and I built one for clinical. And here you can have a variety of different templates: high level, detailed templates. You can have different versions. Maybe this is, small, medium, and large. You can build in resources and so forth. So if I wanted to go to a clinical template and just inject that into an existing plan, or start from scratch and build a new plan, I just click on the template that I want and then click on next. And some of these templates can even have preloaded generic resources. So if I want to say, hey, clinical study manager is going to be me this project, and you can replace them with named resources. So when you insert that template into your project, here we go with a new study, a new project, and we've got the ability to come in here and look at the details and start managing the details and do what you'd expect a scheduling tool. So maybe in this case, the enrollment period is going to be 52 weeks or a whole year. So you just change certain things in here. You can change all your basic resource stuff. You can see over here that I've been assigned here because I replaced the clinical study manager. But you can have other generic resources, all your basic stuff in here for scheduling. You can have different types of views and so forth. And we want to try and use consistent terminology, and that's the beauty of it. Also, you'll notice here we can track not just our schedule, but we can track risks, issues. So if I click on risks, you can see that. I'll just save this because I've inserted some new information, but you can see here that when I go to my risk, you can have a different type of log. This can be your risk log. Again, all in one place, so you can go from your risk to your schedule to your action items and so forth, all in one place. So the idea here is we want to get consistent using common terminology, consistent templates. We can also track metadata at the project or program level. This is our details page, and this is highly configurable. These are just suggestions, like which function, which program. You can put in things like who's the clinical lead, who's our the CSO, etc. Those kind of things. So and then you can customize this. If you don't want functional descriptions and business case, you don't have to have those. So all of this is your project details, and you can have links into other documents from here as well. And then of course you can track your financials. And this is all configurable. And you can have different types of financials, from budget to forecast to actuals. And you can do comparisons. You can look at, this year, next 5 years, custom ranges by month, by quarter, by year. Same with resources. You can look at your resource plan here. And the resources can come in from the schedule, or you can just do a project level resource estimation and do it at the project level. So you can do top down or bottom up resource planning. So you've got all these great details to make sure you're consistent across the portfolio in your project, and getting that information in a consistent manner is no easy task. We got all the information in there. Now we want to be able to view the information and look at the holistic picture with meaningful views tailored to your exact needs. So you're going to find out that one plan, we've got out of the box great views, great reports, great dashboards you can start with, but they can also be customized and tailored to your needs. Here's just a different way of looking at it in a task board, or looking at a roadmap. Or we can use interactive automated dashboards to align and optimize. So for example, what's a resource dashboard look like? Or here's a clinical development portfolio overview where you can see we're going across 3 key programs, and we have the milestones loaded up with some common terminology, whether you call it first patient in or first patient first dose, etc. And so you can get these kind of views to help you align on what's going on from a big picture, or you can drill down to the level of detail that you need to. So let's go take a look at that, folks. Just go back over here for a second. I'm going to go back to my portfolio. So like I was saying, we have, this board view. If you want to, look at my board view, click on clinical. These are all my clinical stages, all my clinical programs by stage, and I can look at a roadmap, and maybe I want to see my roadmap by phase, or maybe I want to see my roadmap by therapeutic area, so I can see what's going on by therapeutic area. You can filter, group, and change the look and feel of the timeline across the top as well. And then we have the dashboarding capability. So if I go into our dashboarding, we definitely leverage the Power BI engine. But it's seamlessly integrated into one plan. So I'll just point that out. And here's just loading up data in real time, and I can see things like my portfolio summary. You can have slicers across the top here if you want to look at different programs. Or here's a clinical dev timeline view. This is going to pull in the data in real time from those clinical programs that I want to look at. And here you can see I've got, oh, what a great view. It's a nice one-pager visual, if you will. Then you say, you know what, maybe I just want to look at phase 1 information. And then it could redraw that information based on, whatever it is that you want to look at. So some very nice visuals that you can create. We can have health summary. We can have, if you want to go look at risks, you can look at risks from here as well. So all kinds of great dashboarding and visualization capabilities. We provide you with a good set of dashboard templates to get started, but obviously you're going to want to configure those and use those in the way that are more meaningful for you. Part 3, what can we use this tool to help us prioritize and select the right clinical programs while balancing resources and or costs to maximize benefits? So yeah, we can go in here. You'll notice here I've built in some what I call business drivers to help us drive prioritization scoring. So medical needs, scientific feasibility, clinical feasibility, innovation opportunity. These are, you can have as many of these as you want, and they can have different weighted value. And then as you answer the impact value, whether it's extreme to low to moderate, it changes the prioritization score. Just another tool in your toolbox to help you prioritize what you're working on. One plan has a great AI engine, call it Sophia, to help drive decisions fast. So for example, I haven't asked what are the top 5 clinical programs we should invest in. And sure, you think, okay, that's easy, Rob. It's going to come up with the top 5 with the highest prioritization scores. But then it noticed, however, the ROI is negative for some of these. So it re-ranked them, taking into consideration not just prioritization scores, but ROI. Anyways, you can have fun with Sophia. It's very, very excellent to ask questions, and we continue to invest in this platform. So not only are we going to start looking for responses, but eventually it's going to go out and do the work for us. So build me a plan, with 50 patients and a 24-week trial period, and actually build us a clinical study that way. So we're working towards that type of usage of our AI interface. The modeler, we have a nice modeling tool, which I'll show you. You can use the modeler to balance resources. So if you're over allocated in a certain area, you can either unselect them or click and drag and move them out to a different year, to a different time period. And you can look at different views and reports there, and not only for resources, but also for finances. So maybe you have a target of, hey, I've got a $7 million or a $70 million budget, and I've got $80 million worth of projects. What happens if I delay this study out to 2026? Or what happens if I turn this one off? It can go ahead and start recalculating based on that. So we'll look at the modeler. Then, of course, you can look at your resource plan in the resource plan area, and you can use that to help match and replace resources. So look at a resource over allocated, click on the plan, find the best match, click on replace, and now you're balancing your resources using that particular functionality. We also have the ability to create what I call master plans by inserting sub-plans. So you can go look at your portfolio and say, you know what, I want to look at what's going on across these 3 or 4 clinical programs and start making adjustments. So if you want to get into scenario planning down at the detailed task level, you can have scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, and start shifting things around in here as well. So that it's also a nice tool and nice functionality that we have. Let's go take a look at that. I'm going to go back to our portfolio summary, and I'm going to actually change this view, and I'm going to look at project prioritization for my clinical plans. I want to show you this first. So in here, like I said, we have these business drivers, and then as you answer questions for, hey, is this program helping us with our medical need? And as you change the results or the values of these, you'll notice the scores over here on the right-hand side are going to start to recalculate. So we have, and these are all configurable, by the way, including the weighted values and the scoring. I think the trick is to come up with meaningful business drivers and then also have an impact value statement associated with each one of these values. So what does strong mean? What does extreme mean? And try and quantify those as much as possible, but certainly helps you to build in your prioritization. So that's just one tool that you can use to help. And you notice Sophia's down here. So if you ever want to ask a question, kind of fun, just come in here and ask a question and Sophia will give you the answer, or at least try to. We can also use the modeling tool over here. And I built one up already for clinical operations, and I'm just going to turn that on. And here, so I've loaded up all the clinical programs. We've got the prioritization score here. And let's say I wanted to model my resources. So I click on my resource plan and I can load them up. And I've already pre-built a few. Like I've got, what if I moved out scenario out to next year, or what's my base case look like, and so forth. So if I click on my base case, for example, it's going to load up my base case. And then you can filter out, if you just want to filter out on clinical resources, you can. I'm just going to change this to scheduled because I'm going to pull in my resources from our schedules. And then here you can play around. Maybe I just want to focus in on clinical. These are my clinical resources. These are my clinical plans. Notice I've got some red here. I can light up my Gantt chart across the top if I want to. I can just turn that on. Can be useful. Just shrink that down a little bit. And here you can say, okay, well, what if I turn some of these projects off? I move that out. Maybe I don't want to do this project. What if I come up here and just say, what if I delay that project to, say, 2026? And notice it's going to start recalculating my resource utilization. And so you can start to manage and build scenarios that way. You can also do the same thing with finances. So I can load up my financial plan. I've got my budget here. And by moving those projects out, I'm actually, it's recalculating that. Or if I move this back into, the way we had it set, all of a sudden I start to become a little bit over budget. And again, you can start saying, hey, what if I move some of these projects out or move some of these projects to the left or to the right, and it recalculates your finances automatically based on below to get to a point where you feel like you're balanced. We still have some red here, so maybe I need to move out, this project altogether. By the way, you can look at this, you can change your time scale. It doesn't have to be by this year, it could be next year, it could be the next 5 years. So you can look and do these scenarios. And then once you get a scenario you want, just click on this, click on save scenario, give it a name, and you can have different scenarios. You can run different reports. We have all kinds of tools in here. So if you want to take a deeper dive into this modeling tool, be happy to do that with you at any time. The other thing I wanted to show you is if I go back up here, and I'm going to change this view back to my portfolio summary view. I want to show you this subplan functionality because I find it very useful. I'm going to go into this particular therapeutic area, for example. There's an option to load up called subplan. So I can load up all my clinical plans in one place and then start looking at these and say, look, we've got some problems. There's no way we can do all of these two programs at the same time. We can start making shifts, or maybe we don't have this IND or the drug supply. So you can actually start making adjustments directly in here and start doing some scenario planning or what if scenarios in here to see what would happen if you start making those changes. So the subplan functionality is also really useful, and I find it, and you can even link across projects in here, and you can move milestones. So for example, if I say, we just found out the IND is not going to be active until, April 1st. Notice it recalculates everything and shifts everything so you can see the impact it has. And maybe that's more acceptable, maybe it's not. You start making adjustments in this sort of master plan area. So lots of good functionality in there as well. Part 4, how can we align our teams and our programs with goals, objectives, and key results? Well, we have a whole module on that setting up your OKRs, whatever terminology you're using, corporate goals, measures, metrics, whatever it is. We just happen to use objectives and key results for this demo, but we can change that to whatever you need to do. And then those can be associated with projects. And then once you have that in there, you can start looking at the different views, how they, for example, look at the runway and say, look, we've got this one key result that's not associated with any project, how's that going to get done? And you can look at your objective portfolio in a dashboard and see how you're progressing along. Let's go have a quick look at that. So that's the module right here. It's called My Strategy. And I'm just going to go back to my list here. Start with the objective summary. So you can build in, you'll see that we just have objective and key results. This hierarchy can be called whatever you want. So if it needs to be corporate goals and quarterly goal, whatever it is that you want it to call, and you can name it whatever you need to, just an example. Under here, you can have your key results, and you can have different views here as well. You can do different groupings and filtering and so forth. You can look at these, you can look at your board, you can look at your roadmap, etc. I can drill into one of these, like if I want to look at the BLA submission, for example. Here's where I can see dependencies across projects if they had any, and also look at reporting here, where I can visualize some of this information, look at my runway. Notice I've got this one key result that's not associated with, but luckily my clinical one is, so I'm okay there. So lots of different ways to look at your strategy and key results and manage them directly in this tool. And all of these lists are all configurable. So you can have, if I just want to look at my clinical, okay, let's click on that. Now I'm just looking at my clinical. These are the ones that are associated with clinical or clinical operations. So again, all in one place, you've got not only your portfolio of your programs, projects, but also your objectives and key results. Part 5, execute. We need to deliver on this stuff. So let's get down to the ground level. What's the team doing to do this? You'll notice here in the background, I've got some key insights that I can look at just for me. So this is me, the team member, logging in. Hey, I need to manage my work, some communications, things that are due soon, plans that I've been associated with. And I can look at just, hey, these are the clinical plans that I'm associated with. And these can all be tailored to meet your exact needs. Then I can go to the team member area and look at the work, and I can look at work by status, by work plan, by priority, by program. You can also use our One Plan app to easily manage on your mobile device or your phone. And the whole idea is that we're able to look at these strategic goals, put them into programs and projects and schedules, and now, boom, here I'm at the ground level, and this is what I need to do. Not only that, I mentioned this already, but you can manage your RAID log in here as well. So you not only be assigned to tasks, you might also be assigned to risks or action items or issues. So we've got a great out-of-the-box starting point, but you can configure it your way and come up with your own acronym, whatever it is that you need to do. And then you can also then visualize those in dashboards. The other thing that I like about our tool is that we can experience it integrated with Teams or SharePoint. So if you're using SharePoint, maybe that becomes our area for document management, and we use One Plan for managing your project and your program and your portfolio, your strategic objectives, and all those other things that we talked about. Or if you're interested in Teams, we have a complete Fuse experience in Teams where you just have, this is Teams right here in the background. Click on One Plan, and you can use One Plan and all the same functionalities available right through Teams. And then click on Files, and you can track all your files here and store them all in here, basically to SharePoint document library. Let's go take a look at that real quick. I'm going to go to my insights here. So this tells me, hey, Robert, welcome back. You've got some recent conversations going on. Maybe you've got some overdue tasks down here that I want to look at. Maybe I just want to, hey, just show me all my clinical plans, and boom, these are all the clinical plans that I'm associated with. By the way, while I'm in here, I can click on this clinical plan, go to that clinical plan, go to my work plan. Right from there, then here's where I can come in here and start putting inputs into the risk or anything that I've been tasked with to updating. So that's kind of nice. I have some insights. Maybe we do compliance. You can have different things show up in this area. So we've got a nice little insights page. Then I got to manage my work. So I'm going to go to my work area here and notice that I've got my work. I've got tasks that are overdue. You don't have to have your Gantt chart. That's just an option. Gantt chart on, Gantt chart off. So you can sort of keep that on if you want, and some people like to have that on there. So this is my sort of team member view. And what's nice about this, folks, is that this is where I can come in and start putting in updates. So maybe I'm done that task. Maybe, well, oh, by the way, also not just tasks. You can track risks, issues, anything you've been assigned to. This is all the things that you've been assigned to, all in one place. And you can, you don't have to do it by due. You can do it by status, whatever makes the most sense, how you want to organize your work. So I kind of find that I find that ability, and you can filter here and you can group by here as well. But what's really nice is that come in here and I say I can mark this task done. You can put in status, you can put in comments, you can put in whatever. You can change the dates when you total it done, and then that gets sent to the project manager or who's ever responsible for that, and they can approve or not approve those tasks. But this is your team member interface. So this is with the groundwork. How do I know I'm working on important stuff? Because we already defined our strategic goals. We set up our programs based on priorities, and these are the things that I've been assigned to that I'm responsible for. So really quite an effective tool for managing all of that. So that being said, what's next? Well, next steps for you, we have a free biopharma solution template, very much like the one I just demonstrated for you. If you want to get a free trial of that, we can set that up for you. If you want to set up a free roadmap workshop, no problem. Or maybe have a personalized one-on-one demo where we come, not just you, but you can get a team of folks and just tailor it towards your need. For more information, please use the contact@oneplant.ai. You can reach out to me anytime. If you want to learn more about our biotech pharma solutions, certainly check out our website, but we also have a biotech pharma solution. So if you want to use that, you sure can go ahead and do that. And I just want to say thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully catch up with you down the road, and please reach out anytime.